Do I dare disturb the universe? In a minute, there is time for decisions and revisions which a minute will reverse. For all I have known them already, known them all, have known the evenings, mornings, afternoons. I have measured out my life with coffee spoons. I know the voices dying with a dying fall beneath the music from a farther room. These words come from T.S. Eliot's poem entitled The Love Song of J. Alfred Prufrock, and it highlights one of mankind's greatest inventions, the spoon. Humankind has been using spoons for over 3,000 years. It permeates our culture, from the battle cry of Ben Edlund's superhero The Tick, to a rock band formed in the late 90s, to lying in the embrace of someone you love. For those who struggle with mental workloads, talk about it as not having enough spoons. We're grateful you've given a teaspoon of your day to listen to Craft and Chaos, the podcast where we talk about the wild world of being a creative type in a world dominated by spreadsheets. I'm Kyle Olson, joined by Ryan Dalton, Mandy Fabian, and Pete D. Wright. And yes, the spoon thing will be coming back later in the episode. Before we dig into our first topic, anyone have any favorite spoons they want to mention?
Favorite spoons?
Well, I'm not actually the first thing we're talking about, but I just want to be sure. Oh, okay.
Is a spork a spoon?
No, spork is its own thing.
Because I love that the spork exists. I
have a spork, a titanium spork that I have used for many years. I carry it with me from place to place. So yes, I'm a big fan of the spork. But
seems like you do feel strongly about the spork. I would have said a spork is a spoon variant.
Oh, now we're getting close into the is a hot dog a sandwich thing, and that's
I think we're firmly there, Kyle. We're not even close. We're treading on hallowed ground.
The real question is a taco sandwich?
Oh,
that's a different show. That is finally a different show. My favorite spoon is an ism.
Ah, okay, nice. So I had a chance to.
No comments on that at all.
I couldn't come up with that.
Okay,
right. If I could come up with a spoonerism right there, I would have done it. But I'm not that fast. So
fair.
I had a couple weeks ago. I had a chance to see a play that I had never heard of before, and going to it had filled me with dread. For those who know me, my dislike of The Crucible is well known. I think it is highly overrated. I think it's overdone. And especially, why is it something that you think teenagers should be doing? But regardless, the synopsis of this play, which is not The Crucible, seemed to be very much of the same thing. It was a take on a 16th century story of of the devil comes to a small town, medieval England kind of thing, and it offers to take their soul in exchange for something that it's a very needful things sort of vibe of like, what will I do for you if you give me your soul? So I was expecting another one of these sort of overwrought, overwritten, impermeable shows, and I sort of steeled myself for it. And instead, I saw one of the best plays I've ever seen. So this is called Witch by Jen Silverman, and it was phenomenal for a couple reasons. And I mentioned a couple of them as we're leaving the theater because my wife was nice enough to go with me. And to both of them, she just said, well, yeah. So I'm going to bring them to you because you as people who are in the creative arts will take these things a little bit differently. So the story essentially is that of the devil comes, but it's all written in contemporary language. So everything she wrote is set for now. So everything is very much modern language, modern thing, and thus very accessible. Everyone can understand exactly what's going on in every scene and what all this stuff is. And there's 5 characters, and it's the interrelationships and things too. But also in the writing of it, the way that Jen Silverman has formatted stuff, I've never seen that. So when we left, I said 2 things. I said, I finally saw a modern play, where someone wrote like me. And it wasn't that, I'm not saying that as an egotistical thing, like I'm on the same level, but it's like, this is what I'm doing. And I have not seen anything else that's like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And I've felt so by myself that I'm the only one who's on doing this thing. And all like the language choices, all the time, I was like, oh, that's what I would have done. Oh, I would have done that too. Like every single move, I was like absolutely wrapped. Yes. I was like, yes, all those things. Yes. And then the other thing I said is, I didn't know you were allowed to do that. So and my wife was like, well, yeah, you can write whatever you want to play. I'm like, no, there's there's this internal thing of like, this is how they work. And then someone comes along who's a true artist and goes, you don't have to follow it. In the words of the Matrix, there is no spoon. So so I got the play and actually read it and realized that from the format of the play is entirely different. Jen Silverman has done this thing where, and it actually has a big explanation for it in the front that says, here are the things that characters say, like regular dialogue. Here are the things that they say to the side, like to themselves, with parentheses. And then here are the things they don't say. And I was like, what? Like there are brackets in here where the brackets like, this is the character is think this, but doesn't say it out loud. I was like, oh, like what a fun way of like back and forth between the writer and the actors and the audience.
The subtext.
Yes. Yeah, actually writes it out. Like instead of doing a lot of times what I do, I do ellipses a lot of like, well, I was hoping we could, but then in brackets they'll put what that word would be. And it's like, oh, it's phenomenal. And like, now I want to read everything that Jen Silverman has done. So it was one of those remarkable things where I was like, the walls are not there. Like they're only there in your minds. It's only there because of what people know. And then someone comes along and says, you can do it a completely different way.
I wonder what it's like to be an actor on a show like that, though, right? Because isn't that the craft? Like, here's what I say, and then I get to manufacture what I don't say because that's my job.
Sure. I'll say Mandy has the most, I think, acting experience of the rest of us. How would you take that as an actor if you saw it?
I get that question a lot from actors on scripts that I've written. They're like, what would they have said at the end of this sentence? Like, I think it actually helps them to know the writer's intention because their job really is to fill it and make it their own and justify it. So I actually think when you have those ellipses, that can actually be frustrating to an actor. It's just, it's like, I think they actually prefer finished sentences so that they can just play the words and the intention of the words and not have to also do the writing of it. Like, I think it actually makes it cleaner for them. So I would say from an actor's perspective, since they're not writers, unless the role is improv or something where they get to create their own thing, or unless they're one of those actors that really likes to put things into their mouth in the way they would say them, I think it's great. I think it's really, because I get that a lot of clarification questions, things that I think are super obvious, especially with those ellipses. Well, the end of the sentence is obvious, but they're not to everybody. So actually, I think that's a really smart move. I like that.
It is interesting hearing like from different directors what it's like guiding different actors to the performance they want. And, some actors are more precious and don't want to be told anything about how they're saying things. And other actors are like, just give me the line reading. Just tell me how you want me to say it. And I'll be happy to. There was an interesting one. There's a movie called St. Vincent with Bill Murray. And the director of that, who went through a crazy process just to get him cast in the movie at all, but talked about a scene where he felt Murray was delivering the line too comedically, actually. But rather than say that, he just said, okay, here's 3 or 4 points reminding you of the situation you're in this scene. And Murray just went, okay. And the next scene, he came back and did it perfectly.
Amazing.
Oh, don't sleep on Bill Murray. That guy's got chops. Yeah.
So that I had sort of put out this as a broader topic, but I was curious what we would fit into this category for any of y'all that you've seen. And it doesn't have to be specifically in the medium or whatever that you work in, but something where you went, oh, you can do a whole lot more than I had ever imagined you could.
I think it was when I saw the movie Humpday by Lynn Shelton. Yeah, right, Pete, right?
Lynn Shelton, my God.
He's a master, and like,
what a loss.
Made these incredible films that were just they felt very real. And Humpday is specifically a really amazing story that is so simple. It is one obstacle. It's these 2 friends that reunite. They're totally different. One has gotten married and settled down, and the other guy is like kind of this, he's the guy who like kind of gets on a bus and ends up and meets these guys at the at the station and then ends up like making art with them in their backyard. And like he's just super flying by the seat of his pants and super out there. And the married guy really is like threatened and also still wants to be more like that guy. Anyway, they come up with the idea that they're going to make a sort of homemade porn movie about two straight guys who end up having sex together because nobody's done that. And like as a piece of art, right? Like just as something that's fresh and new. And they're going to do it in this like home porn festival that happens in Seattle. Like they're psyched about this idea. And it's like just all about art and creativity. So that's the setup, which is just kind of crazy and funny and ridiculous. But they play it so not for comedy. It is so about like who they are as people, if they're brave enough to do this thing that they said they were going to do. And it's just almost like a bluff. Why the whole movie is watching them move toward this, like, yeah, of course we're going to do this. And like, it's just tense and it's just all about them talking and experiencing things. And there are these long bits where it's just them thinking and looking at each other. And I can't get enough of it. And it breaks all the rules of what I thought everything had to be so plot forward and, you have to have bigger movies with like big, you have to have your trailer moments and all the thing. And I was like, I want to watch these two guys who back themselves into a corner, think and freak out for an hour and a half. And I'm riveted. And that was one of the first experiences of watching these like smaller, intense, character driven movies with this one simple plot device. Will they, won't they? This one thing. And I loved it. So that would be my example.
That's a great example. I think all of her, like her mumblecore imprimatur is so vivid. But yeah, that movie is fantastic.
Yeah, it still holds up. I just watched it again like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I'm brilliant, still brilliant.
Yeah.
What do you got, Pete?
I think I'm going to go a little bit more mainstream than Lynn Shelton. I'm going to go with the Lego movie.
Oh, okay.
So the Lego movie, I went to see it, with my kid. It came out when he was of the age where that was all he wanted to do. And I've seen innovative animated films before. I've seen animated films that do things with animation that I've never seen before, and I'm amazed, and I walk away changed a little bit, and the change character was me, and wah-da-doo-dah. This movie does something as its twist at the end that answers that question. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could take the unraveling of what's going on in the animated universe and tie it so ably to what's going on in this kid's basement and in his relationship with his own real world father. And I was gobsmacked. I was sitting there in the theater thinking this has just changed my life, not only because it's such a glorious expression of that relationship, that father-son relationship, but that it has changed mediums in a way that I did not see coming. It was the best Pete goes into a movie unspoiled twist in filmmaking that I think I have ever seen. It is absolutely transcendent.
I say, and what you wouldn't expect from something called the Lego movie as well.
Yeah, it could easily have been a fun bit of fluff, and I don't think anyone would have complained had it been that. But yeah, yet they decided to go the not fluff direction and to not put it in any of the marketing either. They just let you come in and stumble into it and experience it. And there was a point in the movie where I was like, "Do I like that they did this?" Because I was so enjoying the fantasy of it. But then by the end of it, I was like, "Nah, that was the bolder thing to do for sure."
It was bold. It was really bold. And I just, and that cemented my like parasocial relationship with Lord and Miller as creators.
Yeah, you could do this exact same thing about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse as well, because of all the stuff, the rules they broke in that as well.
Oh God, 100%. Yeah.
I think after Project Hail Mary, they could probably do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Probably just pick whatever.
Yeah.
And I just heard recently that another
Not
thing
Star
they
Wars,
did
but other than that, they can do whatever.
Yeah, other than that, Star Wars off limits.
Right. Yeah. But I love that. Well, again, they did a thing in Project Hail Mary that these days people would probably say, "Oh, can you do that?" And you doing Rocky as practical effects, making him a puppet, as opposed to what would have been probably a lot easier as just making him CGI. But then doing that led to another thing they did that you wouldn't have had happen otherwise, in that the one of the puppeteers was doing the kind of the stand-in lines and voice for Rocky, and he was so good at it, and that by the end of it, they couldn't picture anyone else doing it, so they cast him in the movie doing the lines. And he's this guy who nobody knows who he is. He came out of nowhere, and suddenly he's voicing arguably probably the most popular character in movies of the year right now. And I mean, that would never have happened if they had done something more expected or traditional.
Yeah, that's a good point. Out of nowhere.
All right, so as we move on, I wanted to say I made a mistake earlier. Jen Silverman's pronouns are actually they, them, and I said the wrong thing, so I apologize. That was not my intention. I forgot that I had done the research and then did not look at my notes, so that was just me being an idiot. But
Do you want to
they're out there.
say they, them in a couple of different tones, a couple of different readings, and I'll just cut them in word by word?
They, them, they, them, they, them.
Beautiful. This
There
is
you go.
craft.
Go ahead, put it all wherever you want. All right, so then as we've talked about shaking things up and doing things differently, we're about to debut a brand new segment. So Pete, roll the intro.
All right, everyone, chill.
We now present a celebration of unrehearsed drama. Craft and Chaos presents Cold Read Theatre.
Today. So a couple weeks back, as we talked about a little bit on the show, I got a chance to do a 24-hour play project, which the essentially the structure of it is at 6 p.m. on Friday, I get a prompt that has a certain number of things that have to be incorporated into a 10 to 15 page script, which then is due at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. The actors then get it, and at 7 p.m. Saturday night, that show goes up, whether they're ready or not. It is immensely fun. It is a great way to bring community together because everyone knows this is ridiculous. This is not how you do things. It can't work. And a lot of times it doesn't. But that room is always so packed with all the people who are there just to love and support something absolutely bonkers that it's such a fantastic experience for everyone. Even when things go wrong, and the last one, a lot of things went wrong. But whenever people who are not actively in one of the shows, they'll come and sit in the audience too. So everyone is part of this whole thing. And so even like the minorest jokes get big laughs and so it's always a good time. So I wanted to sort of share a little bit of this out. So today we're going to do is Pete has taken up the challenge of doing this. And so I have sent him my prompts. So we're going to do a cold reading of his thing he came up with using these. And then we will do a reading of mine. And so then we will talk about all of sort of what decisions we made and how things went. So the prompts that were given were, the number of actors were 3 because I basically, that's how many of us here, and then one person to either be the writer or the narrator. The dialogue prompt has to be included in the play verbatim. How can you face the music if you never push play? And then the prop that has to be used in a meaningful way is a kitchen spoon or ladle. I told you the spoon thing would be important. And the theme of the play is redemption or vindication. So for at Midnight Oil, essentially it was like 6 plays and I think 4 short films. They had done those the weekend before. They had a 48 hours because editing takes a lot of time. But none of us had seen any of anyone else's things. So then they would do like sort of a couple of short films and then a bunch of the plays, and then a couple of short films, a bunch of the plays, and then we all sort of celebrate the madness. So today we're going to do a little bit of that for y'all. So Pete, do you want to intro anything about your thing, or should we just dive into it?
Well, the intro is I took it as a dare to do this, though I think it's fair to say I haven't written a serious piece of stage work in 33 years. Like I've done a lot of little sketches and stuff for this, but it's been since college when I was actually, attempting to study this stuff that was the last time that I really committed to a bit. So bear with me. And let's see what happens. What's the rule? Do you set up the play? Do you
I say it's up to you. I usually when I've looked at the past, no one has any idea what's happening. Like you don't get anything. Basically, you get maybe the name of the play and the writer and actors, and that's it. Even the audience is coming in cold.
Okay,
they have no idea what they're
completely cold. So I can stick to that.
Not even
So
genre.
I am going to read then appropriate stage directions and introductory material, right? And you guys are the characters. That's the deal. All right. Yes. So the play is called Tale. It is a family play. And it has 3 characters, as I was instructed to create. The first character is Kyle. Because he's responsible for this, I actually named him Kyle. He is 16 years old. He is unhurried. At no point does he appear to find anything remarkable. Think of him as the smartest guy in the room, confident, much more comfortable with anything that is happening in the world than anyone else on stage. Second, Diane. Mandy will be playing Diane, 45. Kyle's mother has a system for everything. The system is not working. And Martin, 47, Kyle's father, tries several approaches. None of them are the right approach. We begin, lights up, in the living room of a perfectly ordinary house in a perfectly ordinary suburb. Couch, armchair, coffee table, television. A Thursday morning in February. Valentine's Day was 2 days ago. President's Day is not for another week. There is nothing going on. Kyle sits on the couch in a full furry gray squirrel costume. Padded bodysuit, plush tail, draped over the armrest, hood with 2 rounded ears. He is eating cereal and scrolling his phone with the serenity of someone who has nowhere to be and nothing to answer for. Diane enters from the kitchen holding a wooden ladle. She stops. She stares. She looks at Kyle. She looks at her ladle. She looks at Kyle again.
Kyle.
Hey.
What are you wearing?
What do you mean?
On your body. What is currently on your body?
Oh, my squirrel suit.
Your squirrel suit.
Yeah.
He returns to his phone. Diane stands very still, searching her mind for a cultural event, a school function, a holiday, anything, and finding nothing. She taps the ladle against her palm once. It is a Thursday in February. There is nothing. Martin enters from the hallway, dressed for work, keys already in hand.
Morning. Have you seen my...
He sees Kyle. His keys stop swinging.
Why is Kyle wearing a squirrel suit?
I'm working on it.
Is there something in school? Spirit?
There's nothing.
Drama?
Our town. Nobody is a squirrel in our town.
Martin sets his keys on the table with the careful placement of a man who has decided he's not leaving yet.
Hey, bud.
Hey.
What you got going on today?
Chemistry test, robotics till 5.
Big day.
Pretty normal day.
And you're going like that?
Like what?
Martin gestures at the costume. Kyle looks down at himself, then back at Martin, waiting for the rest of the question.
In the suit.
Oh, it's not a suit.
It's
just what I'm wearing.
A silence. Kyle finishes his cereal, tilts the bowl to get the last of the milk. The tail shifts with him luxuriously. Diane taps the ladle against her thigh.
Kyle, can I ask how long you've been wearing it?
Since around December, I think.
December.
Maybe a little before. It's hard to say exactly.
How is it hard to say exactly?
When something is just part of your routine, it's hard to remember when it started. Like, you don't remember the first morning you put on that blue cardigan.
That's not the same thing.
It's kind of the same thing.
Diane looks at her cardigan. She is going to think about this for days. She points the ladle at him.
Okay, so practically speaking, does it have pockets?
2.
Martin, that's not...
I'm just gathering information.
He drags a chair from the dining table and sits across from Kyle with the posture of a man attempting a tone he would describe as non-threatening.
Kyle, can I be straight with you?
Sure.
Man to man.
Okay.
When your son is... I've been wearing a squirrel suit in February. A father, he wants to understand it.
What part is confusing, Dad?
All of it is confusing.
I guess I don't see what's confusing about it.
You don't, Kyle, you're wearing a squirrel suit
I know.
to school,
I know where I'm going.
and you don't.
It just doesn't feel confusing from where I am.
Martin looks at Diane. Diane sits on the arm of the couch, her ladle cradled in her lap like a small, useless scepter.
Kyle, are you okay? Are you inside?
Yeah, I'm great.
Sometimes when people are going through something,
I'm not going through anything.
you sure?
I feel completely fine.
Because the suit,
It's not a suit.
I'm sorry, what do you want me to call it?
My thing?
Your thing.
Or just what I'm wearing. Either one.
Kyle,
I know you're worried. You don't have to be.
I am though.
I know, but I'm okay.
He puts the bowl on the coffee table and leans back. The tail arranges itself elegantly. He is 16 years old and completely at home in his body and his living room and his fur. Martin and Diane look at him. A long pause.
What does Ethan think?
He wants to borrow the tail for D&D.
But about you wearing it every day.
He said it was cool.
He said it was cool.
He said it took courage.
Ethan said it takes courage.
Ethan also microwaved a snow globe.
That's a fair point.
That was one time.
What about your other friends? What do they say?
People know my name. That's pretty much all I want from high school.
People know your name because you're wearing a squirrel suit.
People know my name because I'm me. The suit is just my thing.
You just said the suit.
It's growing on me as a word.
Martin stands up. He paces once. He has a new idea. This is visible on his face.
Okay, different question. Where did you get it?
Well, Amazon.
How much?
$47.
I'll give you $75 to take it off.
No.
Final offer. I want this settled.
I don't want money, Dad.
What do you want?
Nothing. I'm good.
Everyone wants something.
I've got robotics. I've got my thing. I've got chemistry. I'm pretty set.
Martin sits back down. $75 is still on the table and nobody is taking it. He is at a loss.
Could I ask you something weird?
Sure.
When you put it on in the morning, what goes through your mind?
Not much really. I pick it out. I put it on.
You pick it out, as in there are other options.
Well, yeah.
Uh-huh. What are the other options?
The brown one.
There's a brown one.
It's a beaver. The proportions are a little off. I don't wear it as much.
Martin and Diane look at each other with the eyes of two people standing on the ledge they did not see coming.
How many are there?
Just the two. I'm not a collector.
He says this as though being a two-animal costume person is a perfectly defensible position, which in his taxonomy, it is.
Kyle, when you walk into school in the morning
Yeah.
and people look at you,
They don't really anymore. It's been a while.
but at first,
Oh, at first they looked.
and
They got used to it.
they got used to it.
Miss Holmberg asked if she could take my picture for yearbook.
The yearbook teacher.
She said the tail adds depth.
Martin stares at the middle distance for a moment.
Compositionally, she probably means.
I know what she means, Martin.
Right. Yeah.
Kyle, I'm going to try something, and I want you to stay with me.
Okay.
I understand the suit. I do.
Okay.
Found something that makes you feel like yourself. That's important. That matters.
Sure.
And I am 100% supportive of you feeling like yourself. But here's the thing. Feeling like yourself and expressing that feeling, they could be two separate things, right? Like your father feels like himself on Saturdays and he wears a flannel shirt and that's his thing. But the flannel is an expression of a feeling. The feeling exists independently of the
Mom.
I'm just saying the feeling is what's important, okay? Not the
Mom.
just hear me out.
I don't have a feeling about it. I just wear it.
There has to be
Why?
Diane opens her mouth, closes it. The question is actually hard to answer.
You know what? I respect it.
Diane looks at him.
I'm serious. It's bold. I respect the boldness.
Thanks.
Not everyone could have pulled that off. But wearing whatever they want, not caring what anyone thinks, that's a skill.
I mean, I don't know if it's a skill.
It is. It absolutely is. And I want you to know this house supports that. We're a supportive house.
what are you doing?
Supporting them.
You're not.
The thing is, Kyle, when I was your age, I was so worried about what other people thought every single day. And I wish I'd had that freedom, the thing that you have. And now I've said all that.
I'm not going to take it off if that's where this is going.
That is where it is going, yes.
Yeah, I know. You built up to it. I appreciate that.
Martin slumps slightly. He looks at Diane. Diane looks back. They have been married for 21 years, and they are out of moves. A long beat, and then Martin straightens. He has one left.
How can you face the music if you never push play?
A pause. Kyle considers with genuine attention.
I feel like I've pushed play.
But
I feel like play is pretty much all I've pushed.
Martin has no follow-up. The line has come back to him, and it doesn't fit anymore.
What about Priya?
That small shift, not much, barely anything, but there.
What about her?
Well, what does she think?
She said I was the most interesting person in her English class.
He stands, stretches, the tail arcs magnificently. He pitches up his backpack, an acorn keychain on the zipper, and puts his bowl in the kitchen. He comes back and checks his bag with the thoroughness of someone who has a system. He has everything. Then, without fanfare, he reaches over and takes the ladle from Diane's hand. Matter of fact, he'll need it tonight.
I've got to get going. I'll be home by 6. I'm making that pasta thing.
the one with...
Yeah, I need to use up the spinach.
He moves to the door.
Kyle, just put it in your bag, okay? The suit. Take it with you. And if you change your mind on the way...
I'm not going to change my mind.
You don't know that.
I do, though.
He says it in the way you say something true. No drama, no defiance, just the quiet shape of a fact.
You guys are going to be okay.
He opens the door. February light. He walks out. The door closes with a perfectly ordinary click. Diane stands with empty hands. The ladle is gone. Martin looks at the door. The coat hook holds a small tuft of gray fur where the tail brushed past. A very long silence.
He took the ladle.
He's making pasta.
Right. Making pasta tonight.
With the spinach.
It's a pretty well-adjusted kid.
I know.
By almost any measure.
I know, Martin.
She sits, not defeated. Something more complicated than that. The look of a person sitting down something heavy and finding their arms are fine.
He said we're going to be okay.
He was reassuring us.
I know.
Our 16-year-old in a squirrel suit reassured us that we would be okay.
And the thing is,
I believe
I
him.
believe him too.
Martin sits beside her.
We could call Warshak,
Just say some kids just do things.
and then they stop.
What if he doesn't stop?
The question sits between them, the real one, the one underneath all the others.
Then we have a son who wears a squirrel suit.
He gets a job in a squirrel suit.
He meets somebody
Priya said he was the most interesting person in English class.
in February.
For no reason.
For no reason at all.
Outside, wind through bare trees, February doing what February does.
Maybe that's the thing, though. Maybe when something's just completely who you are, it stops feeling like a thing at all. It's just you.
When did you get smart?
I've always been smart.
You've never been smart.
I have occasionally been smart.
She leans into him. He puts his arm around her.
There's a brown one.
I know.
A beaver.
He said the proportions were off.
He's not a collector.
And there it is, that sound. Not quite a laugh, not quite a cry. The sound of two people simultaneously surrendering and meaning it.
He pushed play a long time ago, didn't he?
Way before we were ready.
He's going to be fine.
He was already fine. That's the whole thing.
The house settles. The coat hook holds its small tuft of gray fur. Neither of them will notice it until next week. Neither of them will throw it away. Lights fade.
Pete, that was ripping from
That was-
page one, man.
Really
good.
I have now seen like 8 variations on these prompts.
Yeah.
So this one, and I can tell you, yours is like really well done. I mean, some people took some really wild swings and they didn't all land, as is in the case of art. But yeah, I would say I have seen professional one acts that are not this good.
Oh, God. Man, that's so kind.
Well done.
Ah,
I teared
thank
up.
you
there's-
very much.
Got emotional.
That's good.
Honestly, it was there's that couple. 100%, those are real people. Like they absolutely felt like real human beings that would talk exactly like this.
I'm relieved. I am
That was a
deeply
good time.
relieved. Thank you guys so much.
Very good time.
I'm not gonna lie. I did it, and then I made my wife Kira read it with me, and we were both weeping at the end. Like, does it come from real life? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, but I say that one of the main problems I see with a lot of these ones is that people don't know how to land the plane. Like a lot of people do something and they go up and they just kind of go lights down and that's it. But like you had your thing, took us all the way through it, and then you had that nice ellipsis at the end, a nice closure. Like that's a pro move.
That's very kind. I really appreciate that, you guys. Abel cold read. That was awesome.
I would not cast me, but I would cast the two of them. Like, you should need to find a different Kyle because I do not know that.
Yeah, we go September. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
right.
Yeah.
My agent will be sending over my list of demands.
Yes. He always does.
She's
was
a bulldog.
real,
Look out.
So
that was a real joy.
We want to think. Take us a little bit through your thought process. Like you see the prompts, you see, like redemption or vindication. You see ladle, which you went to where I went for spoon, but you went for ladle. You see the push play. At what point does the squirrel suit become a thing? Take us through a little bit of like how you went through the mental Rolodex before you went like, this is what I need to do.
Laundry.
Right.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
Checking out a squirrel suit and going, hey, wait a minute.
Hey, wait.
This is all I have left to wear for the week.
Well, so I kind of knew, like I saw the prompts. I did not know what I was going to do with the prompts. Honestly, that was just not even, I had no idea. I did not start with the prompts. I kind of started with the idea, and I knew like the very first thing when I heard like it needs to be, 3 people, it immediately came to me that it was going to be parents and a son trying to navigate a complicated set of emotions. And we have, I'm in Portland, and I don't know if you've heard, but we sort of hold the brand standard for how to protest politically. And you go to one of these major protests and everybody's wearing costumes of animals, whether it's dragons or whatever. And one of them that comes up on the news is a squirrel. And I thought, this could be funny. What if it was just a thing that it's this kid who, as the stand-in for any set of identity complications that that kids are going through today. And the kid has to educate his parents, or more complicatedly, has to lead his parents through educating themselves. And that was like the lift that I was just hoping would come out of it, that they would, by interrogating him, they would be interrogating each other and eventually come to center. And so that's kind of where it came out. The fact that the ladle was easy because they're in a kitchen, and I liked the idea of Diane wielding it like she's like a wand, like she's using it to both conduct the conversation and to talk with it and to use it to try and create magic with it. Like it just became this extension of her arm. I love the idea that Kyle, as the supreme sort of intellect in this situation, is actually making a pasta dish with spinach. That seems as crazy as wearing the squirrel suit. And so I just kind of needed that in there. I don't know why he took this ladle to school. Like, I don't have an answer for some of those things, but the push play came back as one of the dad's sort of opportunistic approaches to try and turn the conversation, and it just bounced right off of him. I thought that ended up being at least a fun way to shoehorn it in there. And I will say, and I had the opportunity to have some other people read this right after I wrote it in public at a little mini neighborhood talent show. And I told them the premise, but didn't tell them the line, and not a single person guessed the line. So I took that as a huge win, that it felt kind of natural. So I don't know, does that answer questions? Is that?
It does. Anything else from your thing that surprised you while you were writing it?
that it ended.
Okay.
That
You just kept,
I
you
mean,
wanted to stay with this family for longer? You wanted to?
No, it just sort of at the end, it was actually the we could call the psychiatrist or call the therapist and see what the therapist said. That was the idea that helped, like, to, in your words, land the plane. Like, I didn't
Right.
know how to get out. And it was like, originally there was a whole exchange on what if we call the therapist, but that sounded like a threat when Kyle was still in the room. And to
Mm.
have them use it against one another and the event felt more natural and was an easy way out, because they got to use the therapist to convince each other that everything is actually fine. And it's just because they don't understand it doesn't mean it's not understandable. So that's the idea.
I really like how you also, you used something that's a very primal kind of common thing. It's like an emotional transition that most parents go through. All parents go through, really. I mean, if they're lucky, that's watching their kids kind of become adults, right? The thing where you go, "Oh, wow, I'm not really responsible for they are autonomous beings, and they get to wear a dang squirrel suit if it's their thing, and I'm not really here to judge that. Like, I can't protect them. They gotta be they gotta be themselves." So I think that I like that in such a short piece, to be able to address something that's so real and resonant, I think was really cool too.
Awesome. It is non-coincident that yesterday was my son's birthday and I no longer have teenagers.
Wow.
I know, right?
Right. Well,
Oh.
let's shift tones then, because I went a different direction for mine. So I had the benefit of, well, you knew kind of, who we are. So you had an idea in your head of like who would be reading out the stuff. I didn't know who I would get. They sent me like really one line thing about the actors, sort of like, not even the age or whatever too, but kind of like approximately like stuff they like to do, and then a little bit about that. So like not even a bio, I would say. Like it's like, oh, I can juggle and I know how to knit, like that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I don't know what to do with that. Like I can't. Like somebody at one of these 24-hour things says like, I know how to roller skate. I'm like, I'm not writing roller skating into a one night and done thing. Like I don't know how to, but so I knew a little bit there, but I didn't know who they were. So I kind of had to just go by the description and go, okay, I don't know what this will be like, but I'm going to try and write approximately to that. I sort of added that on as an additional thing of writing to these people as much as I could to like within there. It's nice when you get to meet the actors beforehand. You don't always. So this is when I sat down. This is what I came up with. So for our little show, then, Ryan, I would like to have you to do the narration and also playing Quinn. There are 4 characters in this. Quinn is the smallest of the roles, so you won't have to do too much back and forthing. And then Mandy will be playing Vicky, Pete will be playing Cheryl, and I will be playing Chef Massey. So whenever we're ready, then Dalton, kick us off. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Leave Room for Dessert.
A single spotlight downstage right flickers on, revealing Vicky. She speaks to someone in the darkness we don't see or hear.
Am I supposed to look at you or the camera? Understood.
She listens for a moment, nodding.
Well, to be honest, I've always loved cooking. I baked with my grandmother and my mother. My dad used to say, some babies are born with a silver spoon in their mouth, but you came out with one in your hand, ready to stir. Yeah, the kitchen is where I felt the most me.
The light on her goes out as one downstage left reveals Cheryl.
My partner said I could find a way to burn water, so no, I was never a natural. The science is what drew me in. Why does smoke make meat taste better? What is the ideal liquidity for the perfect martini? What started out as experiments in the kitchen became fun. I got to play.
Lights back up on Vicky, now both illuminated but not looking at each other.
For some reason, people believed in me. I wanted to cook, and they started buying my food, which paid my way through culinary school. And then some crazy fools decided to build a restaurant and asked me to be in charge of the kitchen.
Absolutely not. No clue. The very idea that people would watch a video of me experimenting with food, I thought, maybe I could get a few friends to watch. But then it was 100 and then 1,000. The number kept going up. I had an audience. That's when they asked me to write a book.
Yeah, that was a tough time. Yeah, after I lost on the show, after what he said, the restaurant wasn't overbooked anymore, and then we stopped needing to take reservations. I understand why they made the decision they did, but suddenly I wasn't allowed to do the only thing I knew how to do, Without that, I don't know who I am.
After the season finale aired, my phone stopped ringing. Then my emails stopped coming in, and then I couldn't log into the website. I didn't need the scientific method to test my hypothesis. I knew.
Of course, that's why we're all here, why we've been here for so many weeks. I need to look him in the eyes.
I will show him he's wrong, and that he's been wrong this whole time. You'll see.
Their lights go out, and center stage, a spotlight finds Quinn. Chefs, bakers, cooks, and even one molecular gastronomist. All considered the best of the best, and yet they all failed under the glare of the studio lights. But this special, one-of-a-kind season was a chance for redemption. Week by week, they've fallen away. Now there are only 2 contestants left, and they'll face off live, right here, tonight. Who will Chef Massey pick, and who will be forced back into obscurity? Let's find out right now on the season finale of your favorite cooking show. This is Best Served Cold. Cheery music plays, colored lights swirl, and we see a simple table with 2 covered dishes on top. Vicky and Cheryl cross behind the table, and each one take their place behind one. Good evening, everyone, and a special shout out to our live audience. Can we get a shot of these beautiful people? Lovely, just lovely. I am your so humble host, Quinn. You've been watching for the last 6 weeks as these former washouts try to prove they are worthy of their aprons. Now only 2 remain. Are you ready to meet your finalists?
Yay!
Let's hope the audience picks up their cues and cheers at this moment, and they did. First up, bacon is in her blood, but luck was not on her side. Give it up for Vicky. And her competition with a blood type of F for failure. Let's hear it for Cheryl. Both of them wave when their names are called and give each other a friendly handshake. I'd like to think you were all here to see me, but I know better. His name is on the building and at the bottom of my paycheck. There's only one of him, thank goodness. It's Chef Massey. Dramatic music plays as a well-dressed man comes out, caring little if they cheer or boo. This is Chef Massey.
I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong. At least, I assume I would be. It hasn't happened yet. But maybe tonight is the night. We've reached the grand finale, which, as longtime viewers will know, is the dessert round. I hope you both made something delicious. I want to remind everyone that my final decision is just that. Final. If I don't think either dish is worthy, then no one wins, and you both go back to overcooking spaghetti for your ugly families. Quinn!
Quinn runs over to him. Yes, Chef?
Are you still here? I thought you'd have quit long ago.
I tried, but you had a non-compete clause added to my last contract that said if I left, I wouldn't be allowed to host anything larger than a bingo game for 10 years.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I did that. Well, since you're here for the duration, do your job. Go and fetch the spoon.
Dun duh. Dramatic music plays as Quinn picks up a box and opens it, revealing a shiny serving spoon. Massey picks it up.
There she is. Une cuillère. See how she shines. One of a kind.
I'd like to remind our fans who are watching the live stream, if you click the link below, you can get an official Une cuillère replica for 20% off in our online store. Use coupon code SPATULA.
Enough of your prattling. I either get to eat something delicious or show the world how right I am. It's a win-win for me. Let's go.
Massey walks over to Cheryl.
Well, if it isn't the Copernicus of cupcakes. Welcome back, Cheryl.
Hello again, Chef. And I never called myself that. You did.
And you're welcome. People work in this business for years to earn a catchy moniker, and I gave you one for free. Quinn, chit-chat with her.
Cheryl, it's nice to have you back. Catch us up on how your life has been going.
Well, since Chef Massey eviscerated not only me, but my whole field of study on national television, my book deal was negated, my web series was ratioed, and my accounts were shadow banned.
I don't know what any of that means.
What have you been doing with your time?
Currently, I'm working at the community center teaching boomers how to avoid getting scammed online.
Then this return to the kitchen must have been a relief.
Enough with the yapping. Time for the eating. What have you made for me?
Cheryl removes the lid to reveal a small bowl with popcorn.
I call it the Pop Quiz. It's liquid nitrogen ice cream with sweet caramelized popcorn on top. I started with the ice cream base and then...
Yeah, save it for the TikTok, Doc. Let's see how it tastes.
Massey takes his fancy spoon, dips in, and takes a taste.
Quinn, try some of this.
Quinn reaches for the spoon, but Massey yanks it away in anger.
No, you twit. You don't get to touch the spoon, ever. Use your paws.
Quinn takes a small taste.
What do you think?
It's...
I don't care. I'll say this, Cheryl. I don't hate it, but you'll have to stand there and wait to hear my final thoughts.
Massey moves over to Vicky.
Ah, Vicky.
Chef. Quinn, nice to see you again.
If memory serves, you are from a long line of celebrated cooks.
That's true. From my great-great-grandmother all the way down.
I suppose every family dynasty has to come to a tragic end. You have a tale of woe for me as well? Go on. Let's hear it.
I didn't even want to come on this show. That's what haunts me. My sous chef convinced me it would be fun. Meet some fellow cooks, swap recipes, get the restaurant some attention. She said, how can you face the music if you never push play? So I did. Thought I'd be there for a week and then go back to my life.
But then you just kept failing upwards.
It wasn't that you humiliated me, ridiculed me, called me names. I'm a big girl. I've heard my share. But you took away the thing I loved. The thing I was good at. For what? For ratings? Another line of crappy knives with your name on them?
If someone like me could take that away from you, did you ever really have it? But look around. Here we are again. Think you'll change my mind?
Let's find out.
Vicky lifts the lid to reveal 4 brownies.
My own recipe. My special brownies. They're called Death by Chocolate. I know you don't care how I made them, so just dig in. Bon appetit.
Massey reaches in with his spoon, but stops himself.
Did you say death by chocolate?
I did. What's the matter, chef? You worried about food allergies?
Massey and Vicky lock eyes, frozen in a standoff. Chef, I want to remind you that we are live, millions of people watching us right now.
Tell you what I'll do. One thing I love about food is how it brings people together. Knowing that, I made one for each of us. Chef Massey, feel free to pick which brownie each one of us gets.
Massey points to each brownie and each person. They pick them up. Vicky immediately takes a bite, followed by Cheryl, then Quinn. Oh my God!
What?
It's the most delicious thing I've ever tasted.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they turned out pretty well.
Massey takes a bite. His body betrays how much he loves it before he pulls himself together.
That's not bad.
That is the best brownie you've ever had in your life, and you know it.
It's time for me to make my ruling.
Contestants, please take your positions. The lights change as Vicky and Cheryl come around the table and stand side by side. Cheryl reaches over and takes Vicky's hand.
Good luck.
You too.
History has already been made tonight. This is the first time we've ever allowed former losers to come back on the show. When they pitched this idea to me, I couldn't imagine it. Who would want to see a parade of failures?
We aren't.
Shh, let him have his moment.
I was wrong about that, and I was wrong about you. Wrong about you both. What you both shown me tonight is that what you needed was tough love. Without me...
Massey's words start to slur. Chef, are you all right?
Without me pushing you...
Massey starts to sway and then collapses onto the floor.
Quinn, Cheryl, go get help.
Quinn and Cheryl run off. Vicky gets down onto the floor and pulls Massey up so they're sitting facing the audience. Massey's eyes are rolling wildly. The light goes tighter onto them. Only we get to hear this.
Shh, it's all right, chef. Won't be long now.
But how? You ate the brownie too. Are you dying? Are they dying? Did I choose the wrong one?
You think I'd poison my food? Never. Foolish man. The poison was on the spoon.
Massey looks down and sees he's still holding une collier.
Why?
We're long past that. Your days of crushing dreams are over. The main course is over. Now, it's time for just desserts.
Massey takes one last shuddering breath and slumps over dead. Vicky lays him down, gets to her feet, and brushes herself off. Quinn comes rushing back in, sees Massey dead, looks at Vicky in confusion.
Quinn, I want you to listen to me very closely.
Quinn nods, unable to speak.
I heard there's a job opening.
Blackout. The end. Fun stuff.
That's awesome.
It's funny in that last line where like, go help. The actress made the exact same choice as you. Hey, go get help.
Run,
Like she doesn't. She did it
help.
flat, absolutely flat.
When did you know you were going to murder the chef?
Very early on. So I went through the same thing. I looked at this stuff, and then what I usually like to do is I like to give myself sort of the hour, like from when I know, because I can't stay up all night. Like I can't. I don't have the stamina anymore for it. So I was like, okay, at 7 p.m. I have to start writing because I have to stay ahead of my fatigue to get this done before I absolutely crash. So I gave myself the hour, and then I started thinking about like kind of what you were like. I'm like, okay, it's a spoon, so it's in the kitchen, and then I was like, is it the spoon is like the kids are putting stuff, cleaning out the because mom has died. Now they're going through their stuff. I'm like, yeah, maybe. And then I was like, what if the spoon, like whoever gets it is possessed by the spirit of their mom, and like they start acting like it stuff. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I'm like, I can't land that plane in 10 minutes. Like I was like, you could like for your thing for 20 minutes. I'm like, oh, in 20 minutes I could dig in because then you can learn everybody. But with 10 minutes, because they said they just shortened it, I think, to make the night short. It used to be 15, but they did 10. So I was like, okay, what can I do in 10? And that's when I remembered that I had just had a terrible experience at the dentist. And during that process, in their lobby, they had a cooking show that was about barbecue, but they were doing the whole thing of like all these things. And that's when I said that, I was like, a cooking reality show with that and the thing of vindication, redemption. And I was like, oh yeah, yeah, this guy's going to die. And the gag, I will admit, I fully on stole from Batman. So that is there's a thing in Batman, the Audio Adventures, that the Joker does something very similar where
it's on the spoon.
He makes these guys think that he's popping balloons when they come to kill him. And he's like, oh yeah, those are filled with poisonous gas. Like I'm immune to it, but you're going to be dead in like 10 minutes. I only have enough cure for one of you. So let's draw cards. And they draw the cards and they both die because the cards were poisoned. There was never any poison gas. So I was like, that's such a good gag.
It's a good gag.
Yeah. I have to use that. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And I got lucky in that I got 5 aces. I had 4 phenomenal actors, and then a director who I had always been a big fan of, but had never really done much stuff with her. She did a voice on Swashbuckling at one point. But she doesn't do a lot of directing, but she absolutely got what I was going for and made the dark comedy so much darker and funnier. And because she has this really extreme sense of humor. So I had in my script, like, it's a box and you open it up and it goes, oh, and you see the spoon. She decided, once again, with like only reading this thing probably at, maybe 6 a.m., she made an eagle puppet, and then she herself flew out with eagle puppet, and they played the screeching, and it had a box on it, and then the box flew open, and then he reached in and got it, and I was like, yes. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's
great.
Exactly right. So everything
God.
they did, they played up the one who played the role that Mandy played. She's like, I see her as like a Paula Deen. So she did the whole thing of like, well, when Chef Massey did, and I was like, oh, that really works. And the other one had like, she was very buttoned up, and so she had the glasses on and stuff. It was like, yeah, when I first started my YouTube, like that. So everyone was, and then the guy did Quinn. Did like more of like a Caesar Flickman is what they said to him from Hunger Games. I'm like, make it like, I don't want to be here, but I guess if I have to. And then I had sort of thought of like a Gordon Ramsay for the guy, but when the guy came in, he was very Austin Butler. So he like that, say he had the same build and the same thing. So he came in with like a pink thing and a pink ring on it, and just had this like, all right, so what do you have for me today? Like this, I was like, oh, I never thought of it that way, but it worked.
Interesting.
Because he was real macho about the whole thing, as opposed to sort of what I had, which is like this overbearing thing, but it absolutely worked. And like we were near the end, we're second to last, and like just blew the roof off the place. I mean, the audience was just like, after trying to figure out, I'm like, oh, is this a drama? Because they'd seen a bunch of dramas. Almost every, like, of the 8 of us, 6 people chose to do dramas.
Wow. That is so counter to my instinct.
I'm blown away by that. You can do anything, and you do. I just, yeah.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, okay. And I was, all right, if that's what you want. And so they were all, I talked to them afterwards about how they scheduled it. And they're like, yeah, we decided to put all those at the top, like put them all together. So everybody's in that same frame of mind. Then ours was the first coming out of the act break. And so it was like, they were signing that big swell of energy after the intermission. And then we had a thing. And so let me see if I can do this just for you guys. Above my desk. Trying to get the angle right.
What happened?
Yeah.
Oh dear,
We'll edit
things
this
have
part out.
changed dramatically. Best served cold.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they made that sign for the show, and so I took it at the end.
Oh, that's awesome. That's perfect.
So it's sitting right above me.
Awesome.
That was really fun. I
Yeah.
of course, I don't watch a lot of cooking shows, so I immediately
Yeah, me
think you
neither.
just murdered Paul Hollywood. That's like the
Okay,
only
sure.
one I watch.
I
It
don't
was
watch any
perfect.
of them, so like I had to just go by the vibe and not by any particular reference.
That's all. Well,
Yeah.
it nails the vibe. That was
Yeah,
really
that-
great. That was
that
fun.
was
It was
good.
really
Yeah.
good. The one that closed the show was written by my friend John Perovich, and he decided to do a parody, and his was called "The Hand That Holds the Ladle." It
Nice.
was "Hand That Rocks the Cradle," but as
Oh.
like
That's
it's
that's
basically
amazing.
a sort of a
Fantastic.
30s couple who's just tired of cooking, so they hire a girl who just happens to show up outside their door to come in and be their chef, and then it starts to turn into this whole. So he played out all the beats of that story in like 10
Amazing.
minutes, which I was like, bravo.
perfect.
It
is
he said to me,
perfect.
he was like, it was the first thought I had, and I'm like, I hope Kyle's not doing the same thing. I was like,
really cool.
oh, wow, that actually made me feel really good. I'm like, he's thinking about what I'm writing. That's I was like, oh wow, that's really cool.
So you're saying I'm living in your psyche?
I'm taking up residence, huh?
I wish I'd had one to contribute. I was like in this window. I was powering through. I was finishing my thriller. So
Nice.
Finishing.
yeah, first draft
Mm.
anyway. So yeah,
Okay.
first draft's done. I'm into draft 2. All of my mental energy was going to that. I could feel the end approach, and I'm like a freight train when that happens. I just can't stop until I cross the finish line. So
Can't stop,
Um,
won't stop.
yep. So, but it was great sitting back and watching you guys. That was awesome.
Was awesome. Also, I'm kind of like, we're gonna jump on another project that was like, it's been very pressing, but maybe after.
Yeah. Well, we understand like when there are other people involved.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
kinda-
because you have people on the
dependencies
other
are
side who
what
are
they are.
waiting for the stuff. Like essentially, like this is done. Like for me, like this
It's
doesn't go
great.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's the end. So yeah, we totally understand that we don't want to keep any creative projects stopped just for our madness.
I'm sorry, I
So-
have to write a 1-act for a podcast.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
not
exactly,
a great
like,
excuse.
Deadlines be damned. Like, all right. So I guess that I'd say, then let's say bring the segment to a close. So Pete, if you wouldn't mind playing our outro.
Not as bad as you'd imagined, but it would have been better if we rehearsed. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Cold Read Theatre.
Stay cool.
Not
There
as
we
bad
go.
as you imagined would be a great tagline for a lot of things.
It may be our new show tagline, Craft and Chaos. Not as bad as you imagined.
Well, we're running a little bit long just because we had fun with our stuff. So I was going to do a couple of listener questions, but I think I'm just going to do one. And it
Okay.
does actually tie back into what we sort of started the show with, which is kind of neat, is that someone wrote into us and said, Pete, you said something about the difference between being vulnerable and being performatively vulnerable. Can you say more about that? Because I think I do the bad one. I share a lot about my creative struggles online. I talk about my failures. I'm pretty open about my process, but sometimes I finish posting something and feel kind of gross. Like I said something true, but for the wrong reasons. Is that what you mean? So I'll let you take that on first, and then if anybody else has any of their thoughts, they can weigh in after.
I don't know is the first answer. I think, I mean, this probably came in a while ago, and I was probably in a space of writing that line. I can get there though pretty quickly. It's that whole idea that and maybe because I spend all day recording some portion of my identity into a microphone, and and some of the shows that I do, there is a performative part of the vulnerability, which is generally looks like me kind of reflecting somebody that I was when I was actually learning lessons about myself that were valuable, right? Which is like, I would talk about the ADHD show all the time, Taking Control. We've been doing that show for 15 years. I've been diagnosed for 27. Many of the things we talk about on that show are things that I feel like I have come to terms with, but the act of going through them as if I'm sort of learning them contemporaneously is part of the teaching. It's part of being kind of authentic. It's authentic to this guy that I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It's still very real, but am I that guy anymore? Maybe not quite. So put that into this other context, right? Like just the act of me writing this novella and putting it out in the world is so jarring to me. That's like contemporaneous vulnerability, and I get sick of myself with about how I present it. Because I'm legitimately channeling Ryan, like trying to think, you know what, I wrote a thing, you like it or you don't. Like, I'm proud of it. I want you to read it, and you don't have to love it. And frankly, you don't even have to read it, but the joy is the act of creation. And when I do that, I just don't know. I'm not good at that, right? I'm not good at that in this part of my life. That's the part that feels super performative. And I think in an effort to correct, I overcorrect, and I end up, coming off as like whelpy. Does any of that make any sense? Is any of that relatable to anybody?
No, I have that too. I mean, even we talk on this, and it sounds like I'm entirely put together and all that. But I can tell you that whenever I love being asked a question, I love answering the question. But I can tell you that even on this show, I will be midway through an answer, a long thing, and my inner editor, my inner voice is like, "What are you talking about? Like, stop, just bail. Like, what are you doing? Like, in the midst of being put together a thought, I'm already having it just stop, just bail out. Like nobody cares about this. You've lost the point long ago. Like, get out." So that is my internal self-talk that I have to try and be like, no, it'll cut together. If it's really bad, Pete will cut it out. So I trust in the process. But yeah, my thought is, because the internet is so large and there are so many different things, it's very difficult to find stuff. So I'm a big believer in putting out all the stuff in the process, because the algorithm isn't serving me to anyone. If you want to find out the stuff, you have to sort of dig in and do it. So it doesn't feel like showing all the parts of the work and like the ups and downs and stuff of it. You kind of have to go to it. You have to go to Substack. You have to go to the websites to find out about these things. And then from there, I feel like people can choose kind of how much they want to share and how much they don't. There are creators I follow who post a lot, and I wish they wouldn't. And there are creators who post seldom, and I wish they would do more. So it's that push-pull of how much you want to reveal about what you're doing and what you're working and how you feel about it, versus keeping your process internal and doing that. It has to be by your individual comfort level.
When I was first getting into this whole game, it occurred to me, and I remember the moment that it did, that, I'm going to have to like choose, like draw my own lines in what I say and what I share, and like how transparent I am about certain things. And I was, it has since grown to me having to consider that in a number of arenas. But the first time I can remember is there was, this was back when everybody was on Twitter. It was before the fragmentation and everybody going to different places. There was an author that I had admired who was on there, and always liked her work and everything. And then there was a day where she just kind of went off on this rant about day job woes. And I sat there thinking, I don't like to think about authors that I like having day jobs. I like to envision them sitting and writing, and I don't care if it's true. that's part of what I like to think about. And so during like the whole time, especially when I had like full-time corporate jobs and any of that stuff, I never said a word about any of that. If I'm doing stuff online, it's almost assuredly going to be in this arena of being a writer. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also not going to, I'm going to try to be enthusiastic about it and share the things I enjoy and talk about that stuff. Day-to-day frustrations. Everybody's whining about stuff online. I don't want to be that. So I'm just going to focus on or try to focus on what I'm enjoying and about other people's work and about kind of the process that I'm in and focus on that. I also came to realize it hit me at one point when I almost commented on something. I don't. This was a rule from the beginning. I don't publicly criticize the work of living authors. I just feel like it's professional courtesy. As an offshoot of that, if there's another bit of media that's come out, whether it's TV, movie, game, or whatever, that I think is horrendous, and I'm personally offended by how terrible it is and what a failure and a missed opportunity it is, I don't post about that either. For a much more practical reason, because a lot of the companies that put that stuff out also have publishing arms. And before you get book deals, they will look at the things that you post. And if you spent a day just completely eviscerating the thing that another one of their company's arms put out, they may be less inclined to hire you for work. So that's a practical reason. But because I have those long established boundaries and lines that I've drawn, that it's habit now just to kind of stay within what I've given myself. But that also makes it easier to be sincere in the things I know I'm going to be open and honest about, because I know this is what I talk about. This is the stuff that I'll be plain and open with. And there's a whole other variety of stuff I hear that I don't talk about at all. So I don't have to worry about whether I'm authentic or not, because the stuff I've already decided to talk about, I can be authentic about. So that's how I go about it.
Yeah, I can chime in. I think that it takes all the energy I have, all the energy and focus, along with being a mom and a wife and a friend and a person in the world, to do this stuff as a job. Like, it takes everything I have to do the best work I can do. So in terms of sharing it, that was always something afterwards. I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I have anything left. Like, and I've never ever wanted people to like get to know me as a brand. I've only ever wanted them to know my work. But these days, those are a little intermingled. But I'm with you, Ryan. I don't like to express opinions publicly on stuff because, first of all, I flip flop. Like, one day I'm like, I hated it. Then I'll watch it again and be like, that wasn't bad. So
Uh-huh.
I don't want to like go on record as saying something is garbage and then just to change my mind 2 weeks later when I see someone else's opinion on it. And I do think, and it's not my place. I'm not a critic, so that's not my job. But like, to just in terms of what to share, I do think it's important to balance the being able to share who you are and share your authentic voice. But if you're doing something creative and you're channeling something through the creative work, I really do think that, like, let your creativity do its thing, because it's actually not even you. It shouldn't. It's sort of something that's coming through you and it's meant for someone out there. So put it out there. Do your best to try to get it to the person, but also I think that gets helped. Like, if you send it to a few people, the idea is that, it will ripple.
Yeah, that's right. You'll find your own squirrel suit, or
Because for me,
you'll murder your own chefs.
yeah, and I think the tragedy is focusing so much on trying to get it to enough people that I'm missing the boat on whether or not I'm working on my next thing or what that voice really is. And like, I can really actually deplete the satisfaction of having completed something and the feeling of that by focusing too much on something that I'm actually pretty bad at. I prefer to focus at the thing I'm actually good at, which is like, oh, I like to make things.
We all need professional, like a hype man to follow us everywhere
Yeah,
we go and
honestly.
be like
Truly.
you're not going to believe the thing they wrote. It's the best.
No, I honestly, if there's one sort of, we talked in a previous show about like who's social media president. If there's one idea that I would take, it's the Man of Action, because the Man of Action were 4 different writers from comic books who teamed up to be like, hey, how about we just all mutually support each other and we'll work together and we'll do all this stuff. And from that has come a ton of comics, including Ben 10 and all this amazing work. Because if you go there, it's 4 different people. You only have to go to one place for these 4 different creatives, and they're all working together. I was like, oh, that's what I want. And look, it's kind of what we have here, but we just need
Creative
to, like,
commune.
right, 100%. Like that, we need to have, like, I kind of want to have whatever the, like Pixar, except that I'm not making everybody do the stuff. It's just like we're all in this under the same umbrella.
Well, that's what I'm going to write my 10-minute play about. A creative commune. Who gets the
I
spoon?
love it. That's right.
But it would be
We'll
like
have to write
like the conch shell in Lord of the Flies. Where
Yeah.
Right.
I'm holding the spoon. You have to listen to me.
Yeesh. But it doesn't end quite so darkly. How about
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah.
agree Bunny, not a problematic character at all.
So, and bunnies and squirrels and spoons. Oh my! What a time we've had here on this episode of Crafting Chaos. Pete, thank you for sharing your brand new work, which no one had ever heard before, except for the small people in that group. So
They were normal sized
hopefully
people, Kyle.
I would put out to our listeners, hey, say nice things to Pete. Like, tell what you liked about the thing, because we creatives kind of need that as well as the critiquing part of it. So, send stuff up. I'm fine. But send all that stuff to Pete. And where can they do that, Pete?
Just go to craftedchaos.fun. It'll take you to the website for this show. And there's ways to find. We're all online. We're all people who live in some way, shape, or form online. Craftingchaos.fun is a good place to find us.
I'd be curious to hear what listeners like. What do they want to hear from like creative people that they follow and enjoy? Like, is less is more kind of which seems like kind of what we're doing? Is that what they like? Do they want all access? Or I'm not going to give you all access, but I'm curious if that's what you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good topic for a future episode. So stay subscribed, good people, and we will see you further on doing craft amidst chaos.